Hey everyone, welcome to Typical Tech Lad, where you get to see tech for what it is, and you're here because you want to know what the Pixel 8a is all about. And in this video, we'll be having a thorough look at this new release from Google. So the Pixel 8a starts at £499 for the 8GB and 128GB storage version, and then £559 to bump the storage up to 256GB. In this review, we'll be checking out the device top to bottom. We'll have a look at the design and build, display, speakers, gaming, cameras and other aspects. So let's get into it. Pop off the lid here. We got the phone itself sitting on top, but we will have a look at that in a second. So we have the USB-C to USB-C charging cable, a quick switch adapter, SIM tray ejecting pin, a Google help card with various links, and this very thick safety, warranty and regulatory booklet. We'll peel off the sticker on the phone itself. Let's boot it up and get into this review. So up front we have a 6.1-inch display and the phone weighs in at 188 grams, so a bit on the heavy side, but that's because of the materials. So we have this nice matte aluminium frame around the phone. To the right we have the power/lock button along with the volume buttons and then the antenna lines you can see. Around the bottom we have a microphone slot, USB-C port and the bottom firing speaker. To the left we have the SIM tray slot, which has space for a nano SIM. No expandable storage here. Up top we just have a microphone and more antenna lines, and then around the front we have the 13 megapixel front facing camera and the earpiece. Around the back we have the iconic Pixel camera module housing the 64 megapixel and 13 megapixel cameras with flash. The back is matte composite and I have to say feels nice in the hand. Good size for a phone, I have to say. And a positive of the camera module is there's no rocking when you're using the phone when lying flat on a table. Build wise, it's as solid as we can expect. No creaks or groans to be heard. So we'll just have a quick look to see what the haptics are like. But I can tell you that the vibrations are already nice and tight and quite strong, as you can adjust these in the settings. So you can have it the lowest or the strongest, and that's for touch feedback or even media vibration. So we'll start off with it just a bit low. And then we'll bump it all the way up. The Pixel 8a has a 6.1-inch OLED display with a refresh rate up to 120Hz. PPI comes in at 430, so plenty sharp, and it supports HDR content. We get 1400 nits for HDR and then 2000 nits peak brightness. Then looking in the settings, we'll check out colors. You got natural or adaptive. We can also turn on smooth display, which bumps refresh rate up to 120Hz. And then lock screen options here, add text on lock screen, use device controls, dynamic clock, always show time and info. So all is on display on here. Really good to see that as well. Viewing angles are okay, as much as we can expect from an OLED panel. But there is a slight temperature shift to the more warmer end at certain angles. .4K playback is supported on YouTube. And then 4K 60 FPS HDR is also supported on YouTube with no issues running content on that setting. Netflix, we get wideband level 1 with full HD playback and HDR10 capabilities. So you'll be getting all that HDR goodness with the deep blacks, high contrast, and pictures look really nice on here. Stick around and we'll be checking out the speakers in the next chapter. We'll have a listen to those and hear what they sound like. And then outdoors in brighter light, the screen was fine. Some angles maybe you'll get glare issues, reflectivity issues, but again, glass panel, what you expect. But generally, no problem using outside. The Pixel 8a has stereo speakers with the bottom firing speaker and the earpiece doubling up as the second speaker. Settings wise, the only thing that I could see was this adaptive sound option, and that improves the sound quality from your phone speaker, uses the microphone to assess the acoustics near you. So I'm just going to turn that on. And I found the speakers to be good, decent, what you would expect around this price point. At 100% volume, I feel like they distorted a little bit on certain content, but again depends on audio playback and things like that. But we'll have a listen and see what they sound like. Plus, which costs $129.99, and the HMD Pulse Pro, which costs $149.99. And the main differences on each of the phones, from what I could see anyhow, was basically better cameras. The Pulse.
Everything about her intrigued me. Her endless confidence, her weird turn of phrase. You got me?
I gotcha.
So moving on to performance, the Pixel 8a is powered by the Google Tensor G3, and I believe it is a underclock version, and it comes with 8GB of LPDDR5 RAM and Android 14 out of the box. And that comes with 7 years of OS upgrades, security patches and feature drop updates. So amazing support by Google on that front. Jumping into benchmarks, Geekbench 6, we got 4029 for the multi and 1569 on the single score. On Antutu, we got a score of 1,183,326, so that's respectable. While I stress test, we got a best loop score of 7,902. And the FPS was ranging from 22 to 60, so decent there. And then for read and write speeds, we got a write speed of 81 megabytes per second and a read speed of 643.61 megabytes per second. And then generally using the phone, I mean, performance wise, daily tasks, normal things, runs absolutely fine. Apps load fairly quickly, maybe a second or two for some of the apps. Obviously depends on which app you're opening, but generally you're not gonna have any problems just browsing around on the phone with your daily kind of mundane tasks. Check out the control center, stock Android on here, so we know what to expect if you're familiar with that. And then split screen, which I always like to test because I don't have this on the iPhone, but yeah, works absolutely fine running two apps side by side. So we'll check out some gaming on the Pixel 8a, and I'll be timing it so you can see how long I've been playing, and then we have 100% battery life to start off with. We'll jump into Asphalt 9 and it runs absolutely fine. Nice 60 FPS, just above in certain cases. So nice and smooth, and the game looks really nice on this one. Then we'll move on to Call of Duty Warzone, and we have mid and high are the two options for visual quality, and I'm going to set the frame rate to 60 FPS just to see how far we can push it. I am loving this game, really enjoying it. And it seems to be running nice, hovering around the 54 to 60 FPS range, and gameplay is nice and smooth, and we can see that's 7 minutes in. And then 10 minutes in, and if there is a lot going on in the game, then the FPS was dipping. As we can see, it goes down to around 40. Temperatures at 10 minutes are 39 degrees for the battery and 48 degrees for the CPU, so we can see it's warming up quite a bit here. And then after 20 minutes, the phone did start to struggle. FPS was now hovering around in the 40s. It wasn't really hitting anywhere near 60. And then we dropped down to 95% of battery after 20 minutes of playing. And the temperatures are quite high, with 43 degrees reported for the battery and 50 degrees for the CPU. And the phone did feel quite warm. I tried to play Jaeger, but I have no idea what was happening. It was coming out all funny and funky looking. I rebooted it several times, and the same problem kept occurring. In the end, I just gave up. And we'll check out GTA Vice City with the resolution bumped up to the highest, and it maxes out at 30 FPS on this game and was running fine. And so after 30 minutes of gaming, the temperatures are 43 degrees for the battery and then 51 degrees for the CPU. So it does warm up quite a bit. especially if you're playing the more graphically demanding games. And then we have dropped down to 92% battery, which isn't that bad, to be honest, after half an hour of basically intense gaming. So just keep in mind that the phone will eventually start to warm up, which may affect the performance. And obviously it comes down to compatibility of games for each phone. But regardless, if you are going to be playing, it's maybe best to keep the graphics settings and FPS settings more moderate, as if you push them to the highest, you're going to see some sort of performance issues. So we'll check out some video export quickly. So I have a 3-minute 1080p 30fps video clip here. Scrub's absolutely fine, no problem. But we will export that and see how long it takes. So 36 seconds for that clip. And then we'll run the same test but with some 3 minutes 4K 60fps footage, and we'll see how long that takes. And obviously a bit longer, hit basically 2 minutes and 38 seconds. So if that's something you're interested in, and if you're exporting videos on your phone, then the times can vary, and obviously 4K is going to be considerably longer. For optics, the Pixel 8a has dual cameras, a 64 megapixel wide camera and a 13 megapixel ultra wide camera around the back, and then a 13 megapixel front facing camera. And then we can see in the settings, you can adjust your night sight, top shot. On the video end, we have pan, video, slow motion, and time lapse. And for the settings there, we can turn on the flash. We can pick the resolution, which is 4K 60fps is the highest supported on here. We have video stabilization and then speech enhancement. But just to keep in mind, video stabilization is locked on certain options depending on what resolution you're recording in. So you can see all the options are available if you're recording 1080p 30, and then speech enhancement, clear out background noise. We have a bunch of options here: cameras, scan suggestions, frequent faces, things like that. And then more options: dirty lens warning, raw JPEG control, social media depth features, enable time lapse for astrophotography, which color in photos you can turn off, ultra HDR option. But we'll have a look at some of the videos and pictures that I took with the phone. Testing the video on the Google Pixel 8a. This is 4K 60fps. And looks good to me. Also see what the mic quality is like. Checking out camera quality, walking pace. Checking out active stabilization on 1080p 30fps. It's gonna run a bit. So I'm currently running. Now we know all the rave is about AI nowadays, so this phone is packed and I'm on the latest build with a small update when I first took the phone out of the box. So we'll start off with the classic circle to search. Just hold the navigation button for a few seconds. You get the interface, circle wherever you want, and you will get more information. And then in the Photos app, we have a bunch of AR features, starting off with things like portrait blur. So you can pick to focus on certain objects. Then we have the magic eraser, which is a magic and basically erases anything and does a pretty good job. And then the magic editor allows you to take advantage of the generative capabilities. So you can, replace items with a bunch of different options. So we can see here, it's replaced that car with a bunch of smoke, it looks like. Still looks cool. And then, we have got rid of it. So you get different options, and then you can adjust like the sky if you wanted to, have different skies appearing in your pictures. So loads of different options. And then we also have audio magic eraser. So I've got a clip here, just me waffling.
Checking out camera quality, walking pace.
And then you can go in and you can adjust the background noise or the prominent voice in the video. So I'm just going to turn down the voice, and then you'll just get background noise, or you can do it vice versa. Unfortunately, I'm unable to showcase the Gemini app as it's not available here in the UK. And then we have things like screen calling, which plays a preset message to callers if you choose to do so, and also provides transcription of what they say. So neat feature there.
Calling for testing purposes to see how the call screening works. What's the weather like today?
And then live translation built into the Photos app or via Google Lens. And we also have Live Translate, which can translate a bunch of languages, whichever you choose, across various apps on the device. So I've got an example here on messaging. So battery-wise, we're working with a 4,492 milliamp hour battery with a Pixel 8, and Google are claiming you can get 24 plus hour battery life, but obviously it depends on usage, and I found that to be pretty much true. Battery life on here was really good from my use, and that's obviously heavy use, gaming, performing benchmark tests, generally using the phone, watching videos on YouTube, Netflix, things like that. So I was impressed with the battery. Settings, we just get the normal stuff here. You can check your battery usage. You have various battery saver options, standard or extreme, which can push 72 hours plus, I believe, and that just kind of dark themes the phone and limits access to certain apps. So good for when you're in a pinch. Adaptive charging, another standard, good to see. And then you have battery diagnostics if you want to run tests to identify certain issues. PC Mark battery test, I got 11 hours 58 minutes, so really good score on there. And that's with screen brightness set to 75%, volume set to 25%, and I had smooth display, so 120 Hz turned on, which I do for all my PC Mark battery life tests. So overall, big thumbs up on the battery side of things from me. So in conclusion, I have to say the phone is decent. It's a good phone. My only gripe would be is other contenders out there like the Nothing Phone 2A, which is quite a bit cheaper than the Google Pixel 8a. I think if this phone was £100 cheaper starting, it would have been really good value for money. Nice build, you got the aluminium frame, feels nice and premium in the hand. A good screen size, 6.1 inch, I have to say. Performance we saw generally is actually okay, but if you're going to be pushing it, then we're going to get the heating issues. But which phone doesn't have heating issues nowadays, unless it's actually a gaming phone and has crazy vapor chambers and all of that stuff built into it. Cameras on it, I have to say, I really like. The fact that it has astrophotography capabilities, stabilization on here was really good. But generally, using the phone, I have to say I did enjoy it. And me being an primary iPhone user, these are one of the rare Android phones that I think, I could maybe actually have this as a daily driver, as they say in the tech world. But I have to say, decent phone. If it was a bit cheaper, then I would be definitely all on board. $499 might be a bit too expensive, especially if you're talking the mid-range. And there's quite a few other options out there. Like I mentioned, there's amazing phones from Xiaomi, Nothing with the Phone 2A, another really good phone if you're considering in this price bracket. But Anyways, that's enough rambling from me, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Take care.